The Witcher 3 does side quests better than any other game. I don't think you can convince me otherwise. When I played the Twisted Firestarter quest back in 2015, I remember calling my brother immediately and screaming, "Oh my god, this is like Skyrim, but if the side quests actually meant something." Side quests that oozed character, emotional substance, and ramifications. That is what made The Witcher 3 The Witcher 3. But what I couldn't tell was whether or not the main quest was as good. Sure, it had the same great writing and characters as the rest of the game, but with this being such a massive game, the pacing got all screwy and I ended up not really investing in the story. So I decided this playthrough I'm going to focus on the main quest, see where it works and where it doesn't work. And I'm going to start with the quest Kaer Morhen, which begins appropriately in Kaer Morhen. And here's a quick summary of what happens. Geralt bathes, flirts with Yennefer, trains with Ciri, takes part in some optional tutorials, and then has a horrific vision of the Wild Hunt attacking Ciri before waking up and realizing it's all been a dream. So as you can see, nothing much happens here. There is hardly any gameplay. There's really no combat whatsoever other than this tutorial. And the stakes are really low. But I love how the game introduces you to Geralt. He's in pure relaxation mode. There is no conflict here, no dire circumstances or critical item to be found. Even the vision at the end, it's a nightmare. As terrifying as it is, it doesn't really drive the plot. So for like 15 minutes, you're just decompressing as Geralt. The music is peaceful, the atmosphere is inviting, the tone is one of pure comfort. Pretty soon, you're going to be spending hundreds of hours wading through human misery and death, making terrible choices with Geralt at every turn. So I really appreciate this opening because it shows us a Geralt who has all that he wants without the weight of the world on his shoulders. It lets us get to know Geralt and relate to him. Though I myself have never had a hideous crab monster near my genitals, so I can't really relate to that. And for those who think this is too slow, it doesn't actually last that long. As soon as that dream ends and that amazing White Orchard music kicks in, the emotional burden on Geralt's shoulders is just palpable. And I know this isn't actually a part of this quest, it's a part of Lilac and Gooseberries, but I'm going to talk about this conversation between Geralt and Vesemir here because there are major thematic similarities connecting this with the prologue. Wait, how is this similar to the prologue? That was all light and fluffy. This is all dark and mopey. Well, for me, it comes down to seeing more sides of Geralt that we aren't going to see much for most of the game. Should you choose to talk about the dream with Vesemir, we get Geralt at his most vulnerable.
Started in the guest room at Kaer Morhen. I was relaxing in the tub, and next to me,
Triss?
Yennefer. Funny, isn't it? She's never been there. Seemed so real in my dream, though.
This is brilliant because in like 5 minutes, Geralt is going to zip up all that emotion and store it away like a hibernating bear. And for the ensuing 100 hours plus, we are just going to get stoic Geralt. And while I love myself some stoic Geralt, he is endearing and hilarious. I feel like the game needed this brief bit of emotional vulnerability, especially for players like me who hadn't read the books. Hearing Geralt talk about what he was expecting when he would eventually reunite with Yennefer, it's heartbreaking.
She's always poked her nose in beehives. Courtly intrigues here, mages' conspiracies there. What do you expect?
Don't know. Guess I thought once we were finally reunited, things would be calm, at least for a while.
It also becomes clear here that Geralt is actually tracking Yennefer and not Ciri, which I think is a clever surprise. Everything in the Kaer Morhen quest made it seem like Geralt and Vesemir are searching for Ciri here, so it's a nice little twist that that is not what's going on. The main driving conflict has not begun yet. Instead, we are easing into the story with a lower stakes personal quest for Geralt. It's a subtle and grounded way of starting the game. And subtlety is a huge strength of this quest, right down to how the other characters around Geralt are introduced. Man, I absolutely love how this quest says so much about these characters without actually saying anything. Take what we see of Geralt and Yennefer's relationship. There are no huge professions of love or what each of them means to one another. Even the most meaningful line here would go over the head of anyone who knows nothing about the lore.
Of all the women I've known, you're the only one who does that before.
You've known many.
What's it matter? Only ever thought of you.
Like, they are not beating us over the head with the characterization here. That just sounds like something that a lover would say to another lover. Instead, we get a short, intimate sequence where their relationship is conveyed without much dialogue at all, whether it's through Yennefer's bathtub kinkiness, the playful way she pushes him away after they kiss, or that look of pure bliss on Geralt's face as he watches her dress. These little hints are huge at making this feel like a real relationship, And when 15 minutes later, Geralt is talking about worrying about Yennefer, we know what he's yearning for. This is brilliant writing, both in terms of quality and in restraint. And that restraint shows in how Ciri and Geralt's relationship is handled in this quest as well. We get banter and rapport.
You've got work to do. Your reflexes are still slow.
Maybe for a witcher.
Think drowners or striggers will go easy on you because you haven't undergone the mutations?
God, I love that sarcastic nod that Ciri does here. But this playful sequence is short. It's not overdone. We don't get too much of it. Just enough to get a feel for Ciri's talents and awesome personality.
At the very least, you ought to be able to tell a ghoul from an owl ghoul.
By markings, like unto the Panthera tigris that in Zerrikania dwells.
So you did read the chapter. Still, you should have asked if...
But you were asleep, Uncle Vesemir.
The key here, though, is Geralt's fondness for her is palpable. It makes the dream sequence that much more chilling and effective. And then this dream sequence is kind of forgotten for several hours. I mean, it's impactful. Geralt is clearly shaken.
You all right?
Had a nightmare.
But the immediate task here is finding Yennefer. Geralt doesn't know what the Wild Hunt has in store for Ciri at this point. And I appreciate the game delaying the main thrust of the plot. This quest is more about setting the table for the conflict rather than actually starting up the conflict. Thankfully, the game invited the main baddies to the table because, man, what a dream sequence this is. This is our introduction to the Wild Hunt. It's so bizarre and surreal, from the body in the practice dummy, the ethereal ship docking at the Kaer Morhen ramparts, and the Wild Hunt addressing Geralt directly before attacking Ciri.
I've long awaited this, and you, White Wolf.
So good, and such a perfect way of introducing them without it feeling forced. And now let me switch from one ancient supernatural figure to another ancient supernatural figure, Vesemir. He's your typical gruff but lovable father figure, and that could have been it. Like, when I first played this game, I expected his importance to not go beyond his relationship with Geralt. But this quest sets up so much more. We know what Ciri means to Geralt, but the game makes it abundantly clear how much Vesemir cares for her as well. But is it done with obvious exposition? Of course not. We get this line from Vesemir when he's pissed at Ciri in the dream.
A little she-devil.
And then later we get this exchange.
In the dream, I went and found Ciri. Then we trained.
Those were the days. Little she-devil.
What a great line. Lesser games would have had some exposition about how much Vesemir cares for Ciri, but The Witcher 3's dialogue nails the less is more strategy. I mean, this was just done in like 8 words, and 2 of those words were hyphenated. Really, I only have 2 complaints about this prologue. One, the first optional tutorial where you race Ciri down to the courtyard is awful. Like, horrendous. It's mind-bogglingly bad. I've always thought that gameplay-wise this game is clunky as hell, but it's at its worst when Geralt is running or trying to maneuver tight spaces, and boy howdy, this tutorial is all about running or trying to maneuver tight spaces. And second, that completely unnecessary CGI intro. I don't think we needed to see Yennefer defending herself like this here. It doesn't end up adding anything to the story later. Likewise, I think it ruins the surprise that Geralt is not tracking Ciri down right now. And worse, it ruins the reveal that the prologue is all of a dream. Like, the first in-game moment is a shot of Geralt sleeping. But that's the worst thing I can say about this. And it's not really a part of the Kaer Morhen quest at all. I just think it slightly subdues its impact. But not enough to undermine how well this quest introduces us to the characters. So thanks for watching, and if you like this content and want more Witcher 3 videos, please like and subscribe, because there's going to be a whole lot more coming. I'm sorry about the self-promotion. I kind of hate doing it, but you got to do it when you're on YouTube, right?
I understand. At least I think I do. Maybe not entirely, but perhaps that's for the best.
Wow, Vesemir, that's so understanding of you. Thank you for validating my feelings.
So you did read the chapter.
Oh, you didn't really understand what I said at all, did you?
Little she-devil.
I'm a he-devil, not a she-devil.